Hello viewers, my name is Kuldeep Singh. Welcome to my YouTube channel Technical Skills. Guys, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe this channel and please do hit the bell icon for latest updates. Viewers, in today's lecture we will learn about PLC. This is the second lecture to the PLC. In previous lecture, I have discussed the basic things about PLC. In this lecture, I will discuss about the components of PLC like input module, output module, power supply, communication, and even scan cycle and scan time. So for the beginners, this is a very important lecture. Please do watch this video till end. Thank you. Let's start. So PLC components. First is central processing unit CPU, second is input modules, third is output modules, fourth is power supply, fifth is communication. These are 5 components of PLC, so we will learn them in details from the next slide. So first is central processing unit CPU. It is a microcontroller based circuitry. The CPU consists of following blocks: arithmetic logic unit ALU, program memory, process image memory. It is also known as internal memory of CPU. Internal timers, counters, flags like memory bits are stored in process image memory. The program that we download in PLC is stored in program memory. CPU performs the task necessary to fill the PLC functions, that is scanning, IO bus traffic control, program execution, peripheral and external device communication, and self-diagnostics. All these works have to be done by the CPU. Next are some memory types. You can see first ROM, read-only memory, RAM, random access memory, PROM, programmable read-only memory, EPROM, erasable programmable read-only memory, EAROM, electrically alterable read-only memory, EEPROM, electrical erasable programmable read-only memory. Last is flash memory. These type of memories are used in PLC. Let's move ahead. Next is input module. Input modules. These modules act as a link between field input sensor and CPU. Inputs are of two types: digital input modules and analog input modules. Digital input modules, typically modules are 24 volt DC, 115 volt AC and 230 volt AC. Examples: switches, push buttons, relays, proximity switch. In analog input modules work on 4 to 20 milliampere and 0 to 10 volt. The example of analog input modules are pressure, flow, level, RTD, thermocouple, level transmitters, like this. Everything that works on 4 to 20 milliamperes are analog input modules. The input modules that work on 0-1 format, true false format, on off format, that are digital input modules. So let's move ahead. Next is function of input module. Function of input module, first is transfer of data from input sensors to CPU. Input module transfers data from input sensors to CPU. Second is conversion of 24 volt DC to 30 volt AC to 5 volt DC, because CPU works on 5 volt DC and input sensors are working on 24 volt DC and 230 volt AC. So input module converts it from 230 volt AC or 24 volt DC to 5 volt DC by the help of optocoupler. Next is output module. Output modules are also of two types. Output modules, these modules act as link between the CPU and the output devices in the field. Digital output module. Typically, output from these modules is 24 volt DC, 115 volt AC, and 230 volt AC. 115 volt AC is standard in foreign countries. In India, we are working on 230 volt AC. Examples for digital output module are solenoid valves, lamps, actuators, pumps. Similarly to digital input modules, digital output modules are those which work on format of true, false, on, off, 0, 1. Next is, there are some more examples, hooter and motor. Next are analog output module. Typical output module for these typical output for these modules is 4 to 20 milliampere and 0 to 10 volt. These are the examples of analog output module: control valve and drives. These work on 0 to 10 volt and 4 to 20 milliamperes. Analog outputs are also that are not in the format of 0, 1, that are some analog values like control valve and drives. Let's move ahead. Functions of output module. Similarly to input module, first is transfer of data from CPU to output device. Second thing is conversion of 5 volt DC to 24 volt DC, and that is also done by the optocoupler. Next is power supply. The power supply gives the voltage required for electronics module, that is IO module, CPU module, memory unit of the PLC from the line supply. PLC works on 24 volt DC, 230 volt AC, and also 110 volt AC in some countries. Next is PLC communication protocol. In communication protocol, it is a set of rules for data transmission when PLC is connected to a network. Communication protocol is a set of rules for data transmission when PLC is connected to a network. These are following are some communication protocols. RS-232, where RS stands for recommended standard. RS-485, MPI, multi-point interface. There is also PPI, point-to-point interface. Next is Profibus. Next is DH, data highway. In DH we are having communication protocols DH plus, DH485. Next is Ethernet. Next is control net, device net, and also there are some other communication protocols. So the next topic is parameters to choose a communication protocol. Before this, I want to tell you that communication in PLC is of two types. One is direct communication and second is indirect communication. What are the difference between these two is, if we are having same ports, means same communication ports between PC and PLC. Suppose we want to transfer the data between PC and PLC, so we are having the same port in PC and PLC, like we are having the serial port like 232 in PC and same in PLC. So we can connect them with the cable, RS-232 cable, that is directly we can connect between the PC and PLC. So this way of communication is known as direct communication. And second is indirect communication. If we are not having same communication ports at the two ends, that is in PC and PLC, then we use a converter like USB to RS-232 converter. This way of communication, where we use converter in between PC and PLC, is known as indirect communication. So the next is parameters to choose a communication protocol. In this, the first point we have to keep in mind is distance of communication. Distance of communication depends upon type of protocol used. Like RS-232, we can transfer data up to 40 feet maximum without any data loss. In Profibus, it is in some kilometers. So let's take an example to understand this. For example, if I want to transfer a data from PC to PLC, we can use RS-232 cable, as the distance of communication is not much. We can take our laptop near PLC, There we can download our program to PLC with the help of RS-232 cable. So, but in case of SCADA, the second case is of SCADA. In case of SCADA, we cannot take it near PLC. So SCADA communication is between many PLCs, so distance of communication is also different. So we have to choose a communication protocol likewise according to distance of communication. So we have to choose a communication protocol according to distance of communication. Like if a PLC is near, so we can choose a communication protocol which is having a less distance. If our PLC is far, so we can choose a communication protocol according to the communication protocol of the communication protocol of the PLC. So the second point is data transfer speed. Data transfer speed, also known as baud rate, it also depends upon the type of protocol used. Example, RS-232 is having data transfer speed of 9.6 kbps, whereas Profibus is having data transfer speed of 12.1 mbps. Let's take an example to understand it. Same PC to PLC example. PLC, suppose we have to transfer a program from PC to PLC. We can use RS-232 cable because we have to transfer one-time data to PLC. So we don't need any very fast way of communication. We can use RS-232 also to transfer the data to download a program from PC to PLC. But in case of SCADA, there is continuous transfer of data between PLC and SCADA. So the communication we need should be strong and fast. So we will prefer Profibus here. For example, if a temperature sensor senses a temperature, it gives a signal to PLC and PLC gives a signal to SCADA. This is how we get a temperature signal in SCADA. So it should be very fast so that we can get the real-time data of temperature sensor on the SCADA. Hope you understand this point. So let's move to next point. Next point is number of nodes to be connected. Number of nodes to be connected also depends upon type of protocol used. For example, SCADA is connected to number of PLCs or controllers. So the communication protocol should be strong, and the communication protocol should have capacity to transmit and receive data from various PLCs to SCADA and vice versa. For this depends upon the strength of communication protocol. So our communication protocol should be strong enough so that it can transmit and receive so much data simultaneously. So these are the 3 points that we have to keep in mind while choosing a communication protocol. So let's move to next slide. Next is baud rate or communication speed. It is rate of data transmission on network and units are bits per second. Ranges 120 bits per second to 100 Mbps, means 100 megabits per second. And next is output module. Output modules are generally of 3 types. First is relay type. Relay type output module works on AC and DC both. Second is transistor type, works on DC only, and TRIAC type works on AC only. So these 3 type of output modules we get in our PLC. Next, we can see a image of Micrologix 1000. This is a Rockwell Automation Allen Bradley PLC Micrologix 1000. We will understand our PLC hardware components. We will see and recognize the components. Let's see. First is, you can see below, power supply. Here is the power supply of PLC. Like we have discussed, that is 24 volt DC and 220 volt AC, even 115 volt DC in some countries. This is communication port. Here we can connect our communication cable. This is RS-232 port. Third is This is input module. You can see the above part. Here you can also see the inputs. So this is input module of PLC. Next, below one, this is output module of PLC. So these are the 5 components of PLC, and sorry, the CPU is left. So this is the CPU. You can see the CPU also embedded in this PLC. So these are the 5 components of PLC. Next, this is another PLC, Allen Bradley CLC. This is what we can say a modular PLC. Here you can see power supply. Second is communication ports. You can see here there is, I think, a Ethernet port, or there is second is RS-232 serial port, and this is, you can see, CPU. Next is, these are IO modules, input output modules. So here in this image you can see modular PLC. In previous image it was a compact PLC. I have shown you both images so that you can recognize the 5 components of PLC. Next, this is just an PLC signal flow. You can see input modules, output modules. This is processor, memory, and PC for programming. We just do programming. You can see a ladder diagram. This is a type of programming that is done in PLC. When you press the input, when you press the input, the signal is given to the PLC, and then the logic works, and the logic means the processing is done by the PLC, and the signal is given to the output module. This is how PLC works. Next is PLC scan cycle. So these are the 3 blocks, important blocks for scanning of PLC program. First, input gives the signal that is received by the CPU, means sensing the input. First point is reading the input, sensing the input. Second is processing the logic, that is done by the CPU. Third is giving the output. These 3 points are PLC scan cycle. Means if we are talking about the PLC scan cycle, sensing the input, processing the logic, and giving the output completes one scan cycle. Next is scan time. The completion of one cycle of sequence is called a scan, and the time required for one cycle is called scan time. It is usually from 2 to 10 milliseconds. Next is PLC programming languages. There are 5 types of languages. First is ladder diagram, mostly used. Second is functional block diagram, FBD. Third is sequential flow chart, SFC. Fourth is structured text language, STL. Fifth is instruction list. So these are the 5 languages: ladder diagram, functional block diagram, sequential flow chart, structured text language, instruction list. So these are the 5 languages that are used worldwide for PLC programming. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe this channel. Also hit the bell icon for latest updates. Please give this video thumbs up and do share it with your friends. Also please comment below how do you like this video. If you have any questions, please comment below. I will definitely answer your questions. Thank you very much